As of 2026, one of Hollywood's most closely followed families has reached a quiet conclusion. Nearly a decade after a single flight marked a turning point, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are now officially divorced. What once defined a cultural era has gradually settled into history. Yet the story extends beyond the separation itself. Their 6 children, now older, more independent, and shaping lives of their own, have begun making deeply personal choices, reshaping family bonds in ways few outside their circle fully understand. This is the lesser-seen aftermath, and how time has altered one of Hollywood's most famous families. To understand how things reached this point, we have to return to the moment that shattered the family forever. The date was September 14, 2016. Brad, Angelina, and their children were flying from their vineyard in France back to Los Angeles aboard a private jet. For years, only whispers circulated about what happened during that flight. Today, the details are no longer a mystery, and they explain why Angelina filed for divorce just days later. According to reports tied to the FBI investigation, the atmosphere at 30,000 feet was volatile. It had been a long journey. Emotions were already strained, and the situation quickly unraveled. Investigators claimed Brad had been drinking heavily, and an argument escalated beyond words. The confrontation reportedly became physical. Documents alleged that one child was choked, another was struck, and the children were forced to witness everything unfold inside the confined space of the aircraft. The situation allegedly grew even more disturbing. Reports claimed Brad grabbed Angelina by the head and shook her. At another point, alcohol was poured on Angelina while she was lying under a blanket. Red wine and beer were also allegedly poured on the children. When the plane finally landed in Los Angeles, the damage inside reportedly totaled around $25,000 due to spilled wine alone. That flight marked the end. Angelina took the children and left. Because the incident occurred in international airspace, the FBI opened an investigation but ultimately closed the case without filing charges. Still, the damage was irreversible. The marriage was over, and what followed was a legal battle that would stretch across nearly a decade. While many celebrity divorces are resolved within a year or two, this one dragged on for 8 exhausting years. It wasn't until December 2024 that a judge officially finalized the divorce. The delay wasn't just about dividing assets. It centered on custody of 6 children and ownership of a French winery valued in the hundreds of millions. Angelina's attorney, James Simon, later stated that she felt both drained and relieved when it finally ended. According to him, she had pursued the divorce in search of peace and healing for her family. Although Brad and Angelina were declared legally single back in 2019, disputes over finances and property kept them entangled until the very end of 2024. Now, in 2026, they are legally free, but far from reconciled. Beneath the surface, tension still simmers, and despite the divorce being settled, one battleground remains active. That battlefield is Chateau Miraval, the stunning estate in southern France, where Brad and Angelina once married and envisioned growing old together. Today, it sits at the center of a lawsuit worth an estimated $350 million. The conflict began when Angelina decided she wanted out of the wine business. In 2021, she sold her 50% stake in the winery, not to Brad, but to a company called Tenuta del Mondo, a subsidiary of the Stoli Group, owned by Russian billionaire Yuri Shefler. Brad was outraged. He filed a lawsuit, claiming the two had agreed neither would sell without the other's approval. He labeled the sale a hostile takeover and argued that the new ownership damaged the brand he helped build. Angelina's legal team offered a different explanation. They claimed she initially tried to sell her share to Brad, but alleged he demanded she sign an extensive non-disclosure agreement. According to her team, that NDA would have permanently silenced her from speaking about his alleged misconduct, including what happened on the plane. Angelina refused. Rather than accept what she saw as hush money, she chose to sell to an outside buyer. As of 2026, the legal war is still ongoing. Brad is suing Angelina for $35 million, arguing that her actions devalued the winery. In a dramatic development in late 2025, a judge ordered Angelina to hand over private emails and messages from the time of the sale. Brad's attorneys believe those communications will prove she deliberately planned the sale behind his back to hurt him. While lawyers continue to clash in court, the winery remains operational. But Angelina and the children have reportedly vowed never to return to Miraval again. And as the lawsuits grind on, Angelina Jolie has quietly rebuilt her life, moving forward, while the past continues to fight for its final word. By 2026, Angelina Jolie's net worth is estimated at around $120 million. Some insiders claim that much of her liquid cash was drained by years of costly legal battles with Brad Pitt. Still, her overall portfolio remains impressive. Angelina resides in one of Los Angeles' most iconic homes, the historic Cecil B. DeMille estate, which she purchased for $25 million. The sprawling mansion features 6 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, and sits on 2 acres of land filled with manicured gardens and a fountain-lined swimming pool. She deliberately chose the property because of its proximity to Brad's home, hoping to keep the children close to their father. Ironically, the kids now rarely visit him at all. Away from real estate, Angelina has a passion for luxury automobiles. Her garage includes an ultra-rare 1958 Ferrari 250 GT Coupe, a sleek black collectible with only a few hundred ever produced, now valued at over $1 million. She also owns a Jaguar XJ and a Mercedes Maybach S-Class, while opting for practicality during everyday errands with a Lexus LS 460F Sport or a GMC Acadia, elegant, powerful, and refined, much like her public image. Professionally, Angelina made a striking return to cinema with the film Maria, in which she portrays Maria Callas, widely regarded as the greatest opera singer in history. The film centers on Callas's tragic final years in Paris during the 1970s. Critics praise Jolie's performance as commanding and emotionally intense. To prepare, she spent months training her voice to perform opera, a commitment that brought her back into the spotlight, radiant, confident, and once again dominating red carpets. So, she hasn't stopped there. Angelina is also directing a new feature titled Stitches, set in the high-fashion world of Paris. The story follows 3 women whose lives intersect during Fashion Week. Scheduled for release later in 2026, the film is currently being shot in Paris, with her sons Maddox and Pax working alongside her on set. It's clear she is creating a family-centered creative empire, one where she leads and her children build alongside her. Angelina has also expanded into fashion with Atelier Jolie, a bold new venture that is far more than a clothing brand. Located at 57 Great Jones Street in New York City, the building itself is legendary. It was once owned by artist Andy Warhol and later rented to his close friend, graffiti icon Jean-Michel Basquiat, who lived, worked, and ultimately died there. Jolie preserved that history. The exterior remains covered in street art, while original graffiti tags still line the interior walls. Atelier Jolie functions as a creative hub where artists, designers, and refugees collaborate on sustainable fashion. The space even includes a cafe operated by refugees, Eat Offbeat, reinforcing Jolie's commitment to social impact alongside creativity. Across town lives Brad Pitt. At 62 years old, he is wealthier than ever, with a net worth estimated at over $500 million in 2026. A savvy businessman, Brad sold a significant portion of Plan B Entertainment in a deal valuing the production company at $300 million. His 2025 film F1 became a global box office phenomenon. Collaborating with racing legend Lewis Hamilton, Pitt helped deliver one of the most realistic motorsport films ever made, and audiences responded in massive numbers. Brad's personal life has also stabilized. He is in a serious relationship with Inés de Ramón, who is 33 years old, making her 29 years younger than him. Inés is accomplished and highly educated, fluent in 5 languages including German and Italian. She works as a senior executive for luxury jewelry brand Anita Co., known for its celebrity clientele, including the Kardashians. The couple began dating in late 2022 and moved in together in 2024. By 2026, sources say they are fully committed and living together full-time. Unlike Angelina, Inés avoids the spotlight, preferring a quiet and private life. She offers Brad stability, calm, and an escape from years of chaos. The two frequently travel through Europe and spend low-key weekends at home. Despite persistent rumors, they have not married. According to insiders, neither feels pressure to change what already works. For now, they are content exactly where they are. No rush, no spectacle, and no need for another headline. Brad Pitt has always had a deep fascination with architecture, and by 2026, his real estate holdings resemble a carefully curated museum rather than a typical celebrity portfolio. His crown jewel is a dramatic estate in Carmel Highlands, known as Seaward. Purchased for $40 million, the home looks less like a modern mansion and more like a medieval stronghold perched on a cliff. Built in 1918 using local sandstone and granite, the structure appears as though it emerged naturally from the rock itself. Its design has often been compared to the mythical castle of King Arthur, isolated, imposing, and completely shielded from the outside world. It's not just a home, it's a refuge. Back in Los Angeles, Brad owns a very different kind of property, the iconic Steel House, which he bought for more than $5 million. This mid-century modern masterpiece is constructed almost entirely of steel and glass, surrounded by lush tropical landscaping and filled with retro-inspired furnishings. The home previously belonged to a guitarist from Maroon 5 and reflects a cooler, more minimalist lifestyle. In contrast to these residences, Brad made a symbolic decision in 2023 when he sold the sprawling family compound where he once lived with Angelina and the children for $33 million. That estate held years of memories, and selling it marked the definitive end of his former family life. Brad's passion for design extends beyond homes to machines. His car collection dwarfs even Angelina's. Among his prized vehicles is an Aston Martin Vanquish Carbon Edition, sleek and powerful, straight out of a James Bond fantasy. He also owns a Lamborghini Aventador, the most expensive car in his garage. Always drawn to innovation, Brad was one of the earliest owners of the BMW Hydrogen 7, a rare hydrogen-powered vehicle. His love for freedom and anonymity also fuels his obsession with motorcycles. He owns several custom bikes, including a Ducati Monster, favoring motorcycles because a helmet allows him to disappear into the crowd, if only for a while. But the most consequential story in 2026 isn't about houses or cars. It's about the children. The Jolie Pitt kids are no longer children. They are adults, each carving out their own identity. Maddox, now 24, is the eldest and widely regarded as the family's protector. He was reportedly the child who stood up to Brad during the infamous 2016 plane incident. Today, Maddox is serious, focused, and deeply loyal to his mother. He graduated from Yonsei University in South Korea, where he studied biotechnology and life sciences. Fluent in Korean and academically gifted, he chose not to pursue science. Instead, he returned to film, becoming Angelina's closest collaborator. He worked as an assistant director on Maria and continues to support her on Stitches in Paris, acting as her right hand on set. Maddox has no relationship with Brad. Their connection is completely severed. He testified against his father during the custody battle, no longer uses the Pitt surname, and publicly aligns himself as Jolie, without ambiguity. Pax, now 22, is the family's rebel and creative force. Determined not to benefit from his parents' fame, he reinvented himself as an anonymous artist, creating abstract digital works under the pseudonym MTO. His art has been described as dreamlike yet aggressive, emotionally intense, and deliberately unsettling. He wanted his work judged on its own merit, not his last name. In July 2024, Pax narrowly survived a devastating accident. While riding his e-bike through Los Angeles traffic without a helmet, he crashed into the back of a car stopped at a red light. Witnesses described blood filling his mouth as he suffered head trauma and severe hip injuries. He was rushed to the ICU, where Angelina remained at his side throughout his recovery. Brad was reportedly shaken by the incident, but remained distant. Pax's anger toward his father runs deep. On Father's Day in 2020, he posted a message on Instagram, later leaked, calling Brad a world-class terrible person and accusing him of making their lives miserable. By 2026, that resentment has not softened. Pax now works alongside Angelina on her film sets, staying close to his mother and brother within her tightly guarded inner circle. Zahara, 21, is often seen as the emotional center of the family. Thoughtful, grounded, and socially engaged, she attends Spelman College in Atlanta, one of the nation's most prestigious historically black colleges. She has flourished there both academically and socially. In 2023, she made headlines by joining Alpha Kappa Alpha, the first black sorority in U.S. history. During her introduction to her sorority sisters, she proudly identified herself as Zahara Marley Jolie, deliberately dropping the Pitt surname. The moment resonated loudly. Zahara divides her time between her studies and her siblings, serving as the connective force that keeps them united. Then there is Shiloh, now 19, whose decision shocked nearly everyone. Once viewed as the golden child, the first biological daughter of Brad and Angelina, Shiloh always seemed destined to bridge the divide. But on her 18th birthday in May 2024, she took a decisive step. She hired her own attorney, paid the fees herself, and filed legal documents to remove her father's last name. She chose to be known simply as Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie. Although the judge delayed approval due to a routine background check issue, the request was eventually granted. Wanon. It wasn't just a name change. It was a statement, a legal and deeply personal rejection that erased Brad Pitt from her identity entirely. And in 2026, that silence between father and children speaks louder than any court ruling ever could. Shiloh has emerged as a remarkable dancer. She trains at Millennium Dance Complex Elite Studios in Los Angeles, where her discipline and intensity quickly set her apart. Clips of her performances have gone viral on TikTok, drawing attention for their strength, control, and razor-sharp precision. One widely shared video showed her dancing to APT by Rose and Bruno Mars, and it instantly cemented her reputation as a serious talent. She has already received choreography credits on professional projects, signaling a clear shift away from acting and toward a future in elite-level dance. Reserved and deeply private, Shiloh lets her movement speak for her, loudly and unmistakably. Vivienne, now 17, is Shiloh's twin and Knox's sister. Thoughtful, introverted, and drawn to the stage, she has found her passion in theater. At just 15 years old, she worked closely with Angelina as an assistant producer on the Broadway musical The Outsiders. This was no symbolic role. Angelina herself described Vivienne as demanding, focused, and unafraid of responsibility. The production went on to become a major success, earning multiple Tony Awards. Vivienne's work ethic extends beyond prestige projects. In 2025, she was spotted working as an usher at a performance of the musical Reefer Madness, guiding audience members to their seats like any other teenager. There was no celebrity privilege, no special treatment. Like her sisters, she listed her name professionally as Vivienne Jolie in the Outsiders playbill, dropping the Pitt surname even before she was legally able to do so. Then there is Knox, also 17, and the most enigmatic of the siblings. While the others gravitate toward art, film, and dance, Knox has chosen a far more physical path. He trains intensely in Muay Thai kickboxing, developing a powerful athletic build and a fighter's mindset. On his 17th birthday in July 2025, Knox won a gold medal at a Muay Thai competition in Los Angeles. During training sessions, he was seen sparring aggressively, once suffering a bloody nose, only to wipe it away and continue fighting. Dressed in competition shorts that read, "Tough," he carried himself like a seasoned professional. So, what does the future hold for the Jolie-Pitt children in 2026? The hard truth is that the family unit the world once knew no longer exists. The Brangelina era is long over, reduced to history. What remains are two separate legacies: the Jolie dynasty and the Pitt empire. Angelina has successfully drawn all 6 children into her world. They collaborate on her films, contribute to her fashion ventures, live in her homes, and carry her name. She has raised a close-knit circle of artists, fighters, and thinkers, each fiercely loyal to her. Once the twins turn 18 in July 2026, Angelina reportedly plans to leave Los Angeles behind entirely. She envisions relocating to Cambodia or Europe, seeking a life far removed from Hollywood's noise and scrutiny. Brad Pitt, meanwhile, remains alone in his fortress overlooking the sea. Wealthy, accomplished, and globally respected, he has a new partner and a new chapter, yet the bridge to his children appears badly damaged, if not destroyed. Despite efforts to reconnect, the trauma of the 2016 plane incident and the years of relentless legal conflict proved too deep to overcome. The real shock isn't simply that Brad and Angelina divorced. It's how decisively the children chose a side. In 2026, the kids are thriving. They are successful, driven, and finding their voices, but they are doing so as Jolies, not Pitts. And that is the final undeniable reality of Hollywood's most famous family.